California's #1 rated crime newscast.
President Obama, the subject of a hate email being sent around Orange County tonight. Take a look at the picture depicting his parents as chimpanzees, and we've learned one person who is spreading it is a prominent Republican leader.
That prominent Republican leader is named Marilyn Davenport. She's a former Orange County Republican representative for the 72nd District. She now joins us. Marilyn, thank you very much for coming back on. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Marilyn, you must have gotten some I'm not sure if it's pleasure or certainly a reaction when you find that Bill Maher and Martin Bashir are comparing Donald Trump to an orangutan.
Well, no, there was no pleasure in that, because what really reminded me was the words Jesus and Matthew said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And I thought, wow, these guys really have an abundance of, anger, jealousy, malice, you name it. But they really went off the charts on that.
And Marilyn, in your case, what you did was forward an email with a picture of a cartoonish baby Obama with his face imposed on a little monkey, and then a mother monkey and a father monkey. And you didn't come up with this email yourself. You didn't put it together. You simply thought it was a meme thing, and you forwarded it to somebody else, who in turn made it public.
I sent it to, in fact, interestingly, Mr. Trump had made some comments that week at the same time, and I just think it was ironic that happened at the time, and then this happened to him. That was strictly a political thing, Larry, I learned later that it really had very little, if nothing, to do with the cartoon itself. There was an agenda by our chairman that we learned a little bit more later after the event.
And Marilyn, you apologized for it and said that you used poor judgment in forwarding it, but you meant nothing by it, and you refused to resign.
That's correct.
And nor should you have resigned.
Right.
And Marilyn, I guess the issue is when you are making a joke, not you, but in general, if someone's making a joke, is it illegal to make any kind of joke comparing a black person to a monkey? Is that simply something you cannot do, and by definition that's racist, but it's okay to compare Donald Trump to a monkey? Is that the rule?
No, I don't think that's a rule there. There's free speech involved in that, but at the same time, I think what has happened here in this Donald Trump situation, that there was nothing that was going on that was at the event at the time. And in this case of my involvement, it wasn't a racial thing. It was strictly based on what was happening in the news that day or at that time. And it strictly had to do with the birth certificate. And it was, in fact, I learned later that it was an old cartoon that had been going around long before I even got it. So, no, there was nothing intentional in that at all as far as racial.
My guest is Marilyn Davenport, former Orange County Republican representative for the 72nd District, and talking about the controversy about her forwarding the controversial email. Marilyn, you're being awfully gracious. Here's what I think happened to you. What happened to you is what happens to a lot of Republicans, and that is it's a double standard. You're held to a much higher standard of grace and of respect than Democrats are. And then when Republicans do something, the fit hits the shan, you have to apologize. But the Democrat will say something outrageous, and you don't go running around to Nancy Pelosi and other people and saying, what do you think about what X, Y, and Z said? But that's what happens to Republicans all the time.
Right.
And this became a national issue for crying out loud. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was, in fact, I stated that it was a double standard. It was, to me, it was very obvious. And of course, we see it in the news all the time. And I agree that it is a double standard, and the things that, in fact, I received from a prominent person from one of the Black Republican associations who encouraged me, in fact, that please do not resign. And and she sent me things that have said about Clarence Thomas, Condoleezza Rice, and they were really egregious.
I wrote a book, Marilyn, called What's Race Got to Do with It? It's my third book, and I document a whole bunch of things like that have been said. And more recently, Martin Bashir, the one who compared Donald Trump to an orangutan, said of Herman Cain, "Do you really think that he can spell Iraq?" Now, I thought ridiculing the intellect of a black person was racist. If comparing a black person to a monkey is racist, ridiculing his intellect is what? But Martin Bashir did that. Nobody said a word.
I'm not surprised.
Well, Marilyn, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you for being a stand-up woman and not resigning when you had all that pressure, including from your fellow Republicans in Orange County.
Right, that's right. But I have a lot of them that came on board with me, and they were supportive. I mean, more than were against me.
Well, Marilyn, thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you.
Bye-bye. She was hammered. And remember when the reporter from MSNBC compared George W. Bush to a monkey, orangutan? She now has a television show on CNN, Erin Burnett. She called him that monkey in the middle. And how many times George W. Bush called a monkey over and over and over and over again? Anybody suggest make any kind of reference like that whatsoever to Obama, he or she will be reamed. So, what are the rules? I told you what the rules are. Republicans are held to one standard, Democrats held to another standard. And that's the way it is. 1-800-222-5222. So many things to get to. We come back. Larry Pratt came back on Piers Morgan's show. I told you that Piers Morgan is doing a repentance lap. That's why he had on Alex Jones. He had on Alex Jones because he wanted Alex Jones to be over the top and to be the stereotypical knuckle-dragging, gun-toting redneck. And Alex Jones served it up just nicely. And then Piers Morgan was able to ask Alex Jones about 9/11, and then Jones went into a conspiracy thing, and therefore it's out of Jones as a fool and a buffoon, and therefore Piers Morgan was happy. And now he can bring back on Larry Pratt. I told you it was going to be must-see TV, and it was. It was exquisite. Especially the exchange that took place when Piers Morgan played a snippet of the Alex Jones interview with Larry Pratt and said, "What do you think of that?" Check out